If you're moving to Portland, Oregon, there's 5 things that you're really going to want to know. Now, when you get here, they're actually going to be quite the culture shock, but these are also reasons that it may make you avoid even thinking about moving to Portland in the first place. And what I got to start off with is the taxes. So this is something that people don't think about a lot, and they actually, if they do, they're going to compare Vancouver, Washington with Portland, Oregon because of the sales tax versus no sales tax and the income tax versus no income tax. And it can get really confusing. Hopefully my editor just put a bunch of numbers right there. But yes, Vancouver, Washington has no income tax, but they do have a high Washington state sales tax, whereas Portland, Oregon does not have a sales tax, but they have one of the top 5 highest income tax brackets that you'll find. In fact, I'm gonna go here to the old Google machine, and does Oregon have an income tax? Yes, it is up to 9.9%. And so it is one of the top 5 highest tax brackets or income tax that you will find. So that is where it gets you. And if we look up here, they have been actually voting on a lot of the taxes lately, and there will be an increase of 0.8% in 2026. Now that is one of the higher income tax brackets that you'll find, but again, no sales tax, which is kind of actually weird when you go into the store and you see something for $3.79, and well, that's exactly what you pay. But as of a couple years ago, they do charge you for bags. So if you're gonna be an Oregonian, make sure you got your extra bags for groceries in the car. You gotta bring them in with you. But there is something new that's hitting one of the most popular suburbs. Here in Beaverton, Oregon, a 40-cent increase in property taxes without formally asking for a public vote, but that is coming very soon. Now, what it actually means is that it's going to be 40 cents per every $1,000. Now that sounds like a ton, but if you actually do the math on like a $500,000 house around here, it's going to be about $200 extra per year. But some of these taxes are definitely increasing, and having one of the highest income taxes is kind of a shocker to a lot of people moving here. The next thing that you're going to want to know is the truth about the rain. So if you're a Northwest person, it's really nothing new to you. And if you move a little farther north, you're going to see a lot more snow than you will rain. Portland really doesn't get much snow. In fact, if it does get an inch or two, it just shuts the whole town down, just like Seattle. They don't really have plows. They're not ready for it, and it just shuts everything down. So it is rare to see snow, but the thing that's going to be the most common, and I think, what we hear from a lot of clients who move here from out of state, the thing that kind of shocks them the most, or I guess really just like hits them the hardest, is those months during the winter, and especially like early spring, you're going to get a lot of gray days. So it does rain in Portland a lot, like 150 days a year, but comparative to areas where you get really heavy downfall and flooding, that's going to be rare here in Portland. You're going to see more of just drizzles. You wake up every morning to a drizzle, but sometimes you can go 2-3 weeks with kind of gray skies. And I always see the comments. Everybody says you need to take vitamin D pills. I've lived in the Northwest my whole life. I have never even had to do that, but I can see to some of those people who like their sunny days, yes, you do get a lot of them in the summer, but the fall and the winter, you're gonna be missing them. Number 3, if you're gonna come here and rent a car, or you're driving here, or when you do move and you bring your vehicles, don't get outside and pump your gas. You do not pump your gas in Oregon. It is something that I can't stand, and it is something that my wife thinks is probably the greatest invention of all time, because she hates filling up her tank. And she's, I'm gonna say this quietly, she's left me with like a mile to go to a gas station before. How do you even do that? But I don't know if that has anything to do with it, having to pay to actually have the employees, pump gas, but you do have some higher cost per gallon gasoline here. And I get it, you can't wait to move to Portland, Oregon, or you're getting relocated here for work. Good news is we are the #1 relocation team. We've helped over 200 people do exactly what you're doing, help you find the perfect spot. You do not want to move to the wrong area in Portland. You're going to think it's miserable. Right here is our contact info, our email, our number. You shoot us the message and we will set up a one-on-one private consultation with you to help you plan your move here to Portland. But we got to get back into some of these things. I got my list right here. That goes right into choosing the neighborhood with care, because here in Portland, Oregon, you're not going to see a lot of like master plan communities and massive neighborhoods with all the amenities. It's a little bit different here. And there's actually one thing that's going to catch you off guard too. If you're not from an area that has a lot of mountains and hills, you are built into a ton of mountain systems, especially the South Beavertons, up into the Hillsboroughs and the Tuawatons and Lake Oswego's. There's a lot of houses where driveways are like this. It's unbelievable, but that's gonna factor into your decision too. If you got a bunch of little kiddos, you don't really wanna live on a big steep street because you're gonna be chasing basketballs all day, or just let them roll down to the neighbors. But the really important factor is a lot of you are coming here, and let's say you got a family and you got kiddos, okay? Some of the public education around here, if you look in the state of Oregon, is gonna be a little bit lower. Now, obviously, there are areas of the Beavertons, the Lake Oswego's that have some of the highest rated schools in not only Portland, Oregon, but the state of Oregon. So those areas, you have to realize they're gonna cost more money to live in. And the boundaries are strict. There can be one road down the middle, and these people here go to a middle school or a high school, and these people here go to the opposite. So it's very, very strict on its legislation, on its ruling, and its boundaries to stay into that school system. The other aspect of this is you have a certain lifestyle. There's a different style of house that you like comparative to other people. You like these amenities, you like sidewalks, you like bigger yards, you like really tight living where you can walk to all the shopping, the restaurants, the bars, all the fun things. There is so much different living down here, and again, you have to tell us exactly what you like and things that you just can't stand or avoid. And that's how we go, okay, here's 3 areas. You probably haven't even heard of them, but that is exactly what you were talking about. And I remember moving here, and the first thing I did, which is a massive mistake, is you just go start looking at houses. Well, what I did was look at a few houses that I really thought that me and my wife liked. We loved them. And then we had one friend here. This is why I built the #1 relocation team, because we had one friend who kind of knew the area, and when they would tell us, hey, avoid that spot. Like, you guys, your kids, like, it's just not your jam. And we'd be like, okay, what about here? Nope, you're gonna hate that because of X, Y, and Z, right? So I know the struggles you go through, and that's what the whole Portland area or even Vancouver is gonna be. It's very pocket specific, very neighborhood specific, and so streets can divide 2 completely different styles of living. And so if you're trying to figure out the perfect spot in Portland, Oregon, I got something for you. I'm briefly gonna go through all of the different sections so that you can understand the major differences. Right here, we talked about the property taxes, income taxes, and sales taxes. This is the river that separates Vancouver, Washington from Portland, Oregon. So that right there is the difference. So if you do want to live in a state like Washington, you have to work there. You can't work in Portland, Oregon and cross over and get the no income tax, but you could live with no income tax here, which is why a lot of retirees choose that, and just be minutes to downtown. So the thing you need to know about Portland, Oregon is it's divided by the Willamette River, which runs north and south through downtown. And there's a little road here called Burnside, which if you've ever played Tony Hawk's Skate, the greatest skate park ever, right here under the bridge, this is going to separate north from south. So the river is east and west, and that river the road Burnside is north and south, and you've got very distinct areas. So downtown living, Pearl District, that's going to be your condo living, just tons of shops, restaurants, that kind of thing. You're gonna definitely wanna stay up a little bit more north than you would down this area here. So the west side is going to be typically more of your suburb living, and when we mention school, a lot of really top schools. So it's gonna be basically the whole Cedar Hill, Cedar Mill. This is gonna be Northwest Portland, Forest Heights, and then the very popular ones where you've got Hillsborough, Oregon, geez, a little farther out west. Hillsborough, Oregon, Beaverton, Oregon, Tualatin, Tigard is all in this area, and then Sherwood is gonna be the furthest southwest. It's gonna have the biggest and most brand new high school, and then as you come in, you're gonna have the Tualatins here, but you have Lake Oswego, top school districts in the state of Oregon there. Now the different style of living you're going to see is the separator from north and south, which is Burnside. This is your northeast Portland and your southeast Portland. Both of them have that definite Portland vibe, but if you want like the Portlandia, like super Portland, it's going to be more of your southeast area, which is your Hawthornes, Buckmans, up to the Mount Tabor has your mid-century modern style homes, And if you go to the northeast, you do have some of the same stuff, but you're also with the Irvington area. Some of these areas, you're gonna have way, way, way bigger homes. It's gonna cost you a little bit more money to be up here. And you also have Alberta Arts Districts up to the north there. So That's going to be your northeast, southeast. This is going to be more of like your suburb area. And then obviously you have Vancouver and the Portland separator there. In fact, I did an entire video where I break down every single section in detail. It's the best map tour you will ever see of Portland, Oregon, so you can find the perfect spot, and it is right here. So if you want to know everything, and if you're moving to Portland, Oregon, watch this.